Hey.
We're going to find out who this guy Snoozer Quinn was and why he is so important. You're a grad student at Tulane.
Yes, I am a grad student in the music department.
In the music department. So how did you come about this guy, Snoozer Quinn? Did somebody turn you on to him, or did you do some research, or what?
Well, actually, he's a family member of mine, a distant family member. He was from WWOZ, which is, on the North Shore. That's where I was born. I didn't grow up there, but I'd heard all my life about this guy, Snoozer Quinn, a relative who was supposedly an extraordinary player on the guitar. But I had no idea that he was a big deal until I was at Tulane and was talking to John Joyce, my music professor. And he's the one who encouraged me to take this research project farther, because he told me it would be a really good contribution to jazz history.
Really, it really is. Now, born in Bogalusa, did he record here in the city, or most of his recordings were done up in New York or Chicago?
Well, Snoozer was active professionally in 1926 through the mid-1930s, and it was in around 1928 that he first recorded for Victor, but that happened in San Antonio. He was traveling with territory bands, Mark Britt Sylvan Beach Orchestra, Paul English traveling shows, and those recordings unfortunately were lost. So the first documented recording that we have was when he was with Paul Whiteman. He was doing a session with a little subset led by Frankie Trumbauer. And so there's very few recordings of Snoozer that exist today, but very few, and one of them that's really cool is featuring this Ziegfeld Bali beauty named Bee Palmer. So I brought that for us to listen to today.
Well, we'll listen to it in just a moment. I want to talk a little bit about, yesterday on my show I played the 6 and 7/8 string band, and some of the string band roots. We don't have much recorded wise. They said the New Orleans Owls came out of the string band tradition, and of course Lonnie Johnson's family had a string band.
Yes.
Of course, his family was decimated right after World War I. But Lonnie Johnson is certainly one of our roots to guitar playing. So it's an interesting aspect to jazz, and of course some of the greats in jazz guitar that we've featured here many times are Eddie Lang and Dick McDonough and Carl Kress, who were so very influential, and then a little bit later on Django Reinhardt, and of course it comes back to America. But these were, and of course Eddie Lang did play with Paul Whiteman's band,
right.
or also with his compadre Joe Venuti, both sons of immigrants out of Philadelphia area. So Snoozer made his way up to New York, and with Frankie Trumbauer, who played the great C melody sax.
Yeah.
And why don't we give people a chance to hear this, and then we'll come back and we'll talk more about him and your presentation and what's happening coming up.
All right. Well, the song that we're going to hear is called "Singing the Blues," which, as you guys know, is a really famous Big Spiderback performance. Big Spiderback is supposedly on this version, but it's a single call. It's a single note right before the singing starts.
Yes, it happens that way sometimes. There's some of Vic's, and you can listen and listen. Where is he? Well, with a large band like Whiteman, it was not as many opportunities to soloist. So here we go with Snoozer Quinn with Frankie Trumbauer's orchestra.